Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Art and Music Over 100 Years, from 1900 to 1990. This is the beginning of our series from 1950 to 1990, so the second half of our journey, and we're going to be beginning today with R&B, beginning in the 1950s. Now, R&B was a popular genre of predominantly African-American artists. It came to fruition, so it came around the early 40s, but didn't begin to see true success until the 1950s. Now, the term was originally used by record companies to try and sell R&B as a more jazzy sort of music style when jazz music with a heavy beat was really, really popular. So they were kind of using that genre as a way to kind of push the popularity of jazz. Now, R&B usually in the 1950s to 70s, right, so it's like a 20-year spread, usually consisted of either a piano, one or more guitars, bass drums, saxophones, and a lot of the times backing vocalists. Now, R&B lyrical themes were inspired by African-American experience of pain, as well as the quest for freedom and joy. Now, lyrics focused on themes of triumphs and failures in terms of relationships, freedom, economics, and aspirations, and you can kind of see that in the title, rhythm and blues, right? So you're combining the rhythms of a lot of traditional African music with the blues, kind of singing about these hardships that people will encounter in their life. Now, of course, when you think of rhythm, blues, R&B, at least I think first person that comes to mind is Ray Charles. Now, of course, Ray Charles was a very prominent voice for the rhythm and blues community, as he contributed to the integration of country music, R&B, and pop during the 1950s and 60s with success on ABC Records. So during the 1950s and 60s, country music and traditional big band pop were really the two main headers. And then when R&B kind of came into the fold, that's what became really popular and has kind of morphed into later genres that we see today, like hip-hop or rap, and even R&B in a new evolved state is still around. Now I'm going to play a sample of Ray Charles here, and just to give you an idea of what he sounds like and what the style is for those who aren't familiar with R&B music, I'm going to play two songs of his, and then another one that I'm going to play is Aretha Franklin. She was an incredible vocalist, and I'm going to play one or two songs of hers as well for you to get acquainted with that.
Georgia, whoa, Georgia, hit a whole day through. Just this one sweet song, keep Georgia on my mind.
How these artists express their emotions and struggles through their music, right? What are the ways that they presented their triumphs? What are the ways that they presented their failures? Were they very outright with it? Were they like, man, today I lost my dog, or today I had some problems with my wife? Are they that forward, or are they highlighting their struggles through metaphor, through simile, through representation, right? Those are going to be the big things that you're going to want to look at and try to discern when listening to this music. So you want to make note on how they present different parts of their life in their songs. Now, step 3, as we talked about, R&B is about all the highs and lows of life. On the handout, you're going to want to write down some situations where you feel you accomplished something great, and other times where you failed, where you wanted to succeed, right? Giving the highs, giving the lows of life, and kind of using that as inspiration for an R&B song. Now, for the lows, how did those failings influence you to do better, right? Because whenever somebody fails, the importance is not on failing, but on getting back up after that and learning from your mistakes. So if you did have a failure, what did you learn from it? Did you take anything away from it? And how did you move forward after that? And you're going to want to put that on the handout and then analyze that handout to see if you have found anything about yourself while writing it down. Is there something that you didn't really think about in certain situations that this helped you realize, what maybe it's brought to mind? Now, as a group tour, you're going to ask your friends and family about their own difficulties and accomplishments, and of course that can be a sensitive subject for some people, so as long as they're comfortable having them explain that. And you are going to ask them, how did their accomplishments push them to do more, right? So did they succeed and decide to just stay there? Especially for like your family. If they accomplished something, did they just stay where they were at as soon as they did it? Or did they look towards the next goal in life and trying to move forward? Okay. And how did their failings influence them to do better? Of course, when we think of life and experience, a lot of the times we look to our parents. You know what I mean? I'm 19. I don't have that much life experience. When I try and think of a situation and I need life advice, I turn to my parents. They've experienced so much more than me. So look to your parents and ask them, what do you think they got from these failures? What brought them to do more? And then to extend your journey, finally, if you want to look further into the history of the genre and the artists, there is a link to a documentary on both Aretha Franklin and Ray Charles in the Handout, the lesson plan, as well as on the blog post that we're going to have on ArtSphere. Now, this video will be linked to the blog post online. There will be links in this blog post to the Handout and any more information about this particular subject or any questions that you might have to direct it to artsphereinc.org. I hope that everybody has had a great time today, and I will catch you in the next one.